Versus Ethan. We're getting into the start of our best of fives here. So here's where we start to see the marathon run. In the EU side of things, we saw Blue was able to make that marathon run. Will we see a repeat of that in the North American side? That'd be pretty wild. I am interested to see, but before that even starts, Wilson versus Ethan.
Man, all right, so we've got Ethan. You know him, you love him. He's got that explosive play style, high string viability, lots of damage out of nowhere. But Wilson has these crazy dodge reads with his guitars and just such consistent play.
Yeah, on the other side, like you were saying, Wilson likes to kind of sit pretty still. He doesn't go for anything excessive. He's kind of just like, I'm going to just play my game, and you have to play around it. He doesn't go for anything wild. On the other side, Ethan goes for these big string reads, wants to get that dodge out so that he can go for the nairs and stairs, you know, off the neutral light, or you'll see him go for the side light turnaround neutral signature. That's what he was working with in the upper side of the bracket earlier today. But down sig just off the mark for Ethan. Both of them relatively even here to start off this game one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really been back and forth, getting a couple pokes here and there. Oh, there's one of the first big dodge reads of the match. Ethan sending Wilson off to the side, getting him into the red. That side signature is going to do it. Minute in, he takes the first stock.
Ethan with the advantage over Wilson. Wilson, where's the weapon pickup? He's got the axe in hand. We'll see what he can do with it. Can he start chopping away at Ethan? Doesn't even go for a follow-up off the side light. The side light's the combo starter for the axe, and Wilson just said, nah, I don't want it. I'll wait for another one.
Yeah, well, you know what? His axe does pretty well. I think he's going to get enough chances in the future.
I think he'll find one. Likely he'll go for the neutral sig. That's kind of his signature of choice with the axe. Sometimes you'll see the side signature come out on like corners and things like that, but really his neutral signature game with the axe has been on point in general.
I mean, it's just this great wide sweeping arc of the fire. Especially if someone's trying to go for all those down air approaches like Ethan, it's going to find a lot of success.
Yeah, it's really popular with sites to go for that down air approach. And if Wilson catches on to that, maybe he'll go for some axe neutral sigs. But instead, over to the guitars. He's taken a little bit of damage here. Hasn't really been working for the kill option onto Ethan. He's not like swinging for the fences with any big sig attempts. Instead, he's just waiting for his moment.
Yeah, I mean, that moment, it's a little delayed in coming. Ethan is still on his first stock. Has Wilson in the red. He's poised to take this match.
Yeah, Ethan looking real strong here in game one. Wilson finally finds that finishing blow, recognizes that he's been behind. He is in the red on his second stock. He's going to be sticking with the guitars this time. He'll need to get that dodge read. Here's the dodge from Ethan. It's in the air, so that means 2.7 seconds. Unless he can get back down onto ground. Wilson took a little bit of advantage. He's getting the damage out onto Ethan. This is what he's looking for with these guitars.
I mean, if he just keeps getting damage reads like that, look, he's almost tied this up. Sure, he just lost his stock there, but he got Ethan pushed into the orange. He's been working to close this gap significantly.
Wilson just kind of waking up into this. It is the upper side of the bracket. He's been sitting there with Ethan for a little while now, watching the lower bracket catch up. So maybe he needed a little bit of warm-up time. But now that he's warmed up, he's breathed on his hands with his fire breath. But Ethan doesn't need it. Almost gets the edge guard. Almost gets that gimp onto Wilson.
That was so scary because he missed by inches.
So incredibly close. Ethan still has the advantage. Wilson with a wake-up side sig. Spitfire onto the ground sends Ethan up. Neutral sig will spike him down, and Wilson able to even up the stocks and is not too terribly damaged.
Yeah, kept the gap just about where it was. So Ethan with a slight advantage. Back on his signature scythe, but he's got to find his way past Wilson's guitars.
Wilson's guitars for this damage build has been working fairly well against Ethan.
Especially the signatures he's been able to find. Those things just perfectly timed, hitting so hard.
He's so good at using Ragnar's signatures as a whole. I think so far he kind of missed that side signature a second ago. Spot dodges through that side signature. Really good movement from Wilson. Was looking for the turnaround neutral signature, I think. But either way, he's definitely closed the gap here on these final stocks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was almost being worked on a 3-stock by Ethan, and now it's just poised, dead even.
Oh! Wilson has the stage control. Side light's just a little bit late, so it goes past Ethan there. The weapon toss comes out. Ethan covering so many options. Wilson still gets the wall touch, gets the recovery, gets the neutral sig. Wilson took game one!
Man, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
From the jaws of Ethan, man. That was crazy. Wilson, he was just taking his time. He was just kind of ramping up. Maybe it was like he was doing like a light jog before he was like, okay, yeah, I should start running into this game. And he got it. He got game 1 with his guitar play, and it's only going to get better here on Shipwreck as the walls are so short. It's going to be difficult for Ethan to get back up onto the stage.
Yeah, I mean, this one's going to be an insanely volatile match just because Scythe, incredibly good at scoring early KOs off stage.
Yes.
Guitar's insanely good at scoring early KOs off stage.
Ethan was looking for that off-stage opportunity there. He went for that turnaround nair past Wilson. He got some decent damage onto him, though. Wilson falling there, gets the downlight into the recovery onto Ethan. Another downlight into recovery onto Ethan. Almost gets the gravity cancel side signature to catch Ethan. Wilson, he is just figuring out what Ethan is doing and punishing him.
I mean, he was able to capitalize off of that weapon star for so long. Ethan took so much damage just trying to get his spear back.
Meanwhile, Wilson's just been throwing that guitar down.
Oh my gosh, the accuracy.
Another weapon toss.
What about the accuracy? There it is, the side air. That's got to be enough to do it. Ethan, can you make it back? Nope. Wilson's there waiting.
If that ground pound didn't kill, I got to believe the accuracy would have. Wilson is able to take the first stock, that advantage over Ethan. Ethan back to the scythe, gets that neutral light. Was looking for the recovery read. Wouldn't have really been a kill option as it would have sent Wilson right to left. But still, he's good. He's looking for these hits, goes for the neutral stick, goes for the side signature, and Wilson's just punishing them.
Ooh, Ethan just jumping away, not going for the dodge. Wilson obviously looking for a dodge punish.
One time he gets the hit,
oh no,
and he beats it out. Ethan was trying to get the nair, was trying to get the recovery, just any of those kind of above coverage attacks, and Wilson won it out with that ground pound. Wilson's looking like he's working on the 3 stack. Ethan with the ground pound might shut it out.
Wilson knocked out wide, manages to stabilize back to stage. Ethan hunting with the spear. Here we go, center stage. Wilson armed up with the guitars. He just needs to get a little bit of damage. There it is, definitely worth it. Ethan finally gonna score the KO.
Wilson's still alive?
How?
He can dare. He can dare. Yep, he's good. He got back up safely, and he's just outside the down stick. Ethan, this is where you start getting desperate. You see a lot of players start getting desperate and start just throwing out signatures. They're like, I need this kill, man. Like, just for the sheer morality of, like, I don't want to feel like I got 3 stocked in winners finals. And Wilson is just chunking. He's living for so incredibly long with this Ragnir.
The master of stock extension. Still alive.
Okay.
There it is.
Wow.
The side air just deleting him. So much damage onto him, but now down to only his 2nd stock.
Finally took the first stock off of Wilson with that unarmed side air. Ethan's going to need something big here. The nairs and sares are fairly big. Doesn't lead to a kill, though.
I mean, that's the start of the path he needs, right? It's the damage build that'll lay the bricks of the road.
Unfortunately, this might be a yellow brick road, and Wilson might be that emerald city at the end of it as he gets the side signature to finish off Ethan's stock. And Wilson is 1 game away from 3-0ing Ethan in winners finals.
Looking insanely clean. You know what? That first match was crazy close. And, you know, Wilson was able to just buckle down, get that clutch turnaround at the end. But this second match was just Wilson running away with it.
That was Wilson's through and through. Ethan really needs to find something different here in Game 3. Is it going to be the Mordex, the thing that we've seen Ethan play time and time again, or is he going to just stick it out with this Apocalypse Mirage?
If ever there was a time to change, it would probably be now.
This is that clutch or kick last minute. Is he going to swap? Decision time. He might be conferring with the team. Val, interesting option from Ethan. All right, so he does. So we talked about his Mordex. We've talked about his Mirage. Mordex does have gauntlets, so Ethan will have that crossover. And for the most part, most players at this caliber of play are comfortable with sword to some degree.
Oh, for sure.
So it's not the weirdest decision for him to go in with this Val, but definitely not something we would have expected, especially not the movement speed Val. Usually they go in with the strength stance.
Yeah, I guess he's really just looking to more so capitalize on the gauntlets in comparison to guitars.
Okay.
And he wants that movement speed because gauntlets, you know, they're a little bit shorter ranged of a weapon. So you need that to be able to get
in position. Ethan does pick up those gauntlets that we were talking about. Wilson Got a little bit of damage onto Ethan. Ethan was looking for that ground and pound, was trying to get that off stage, just immediate gimp. Gets underneath, looks for the sidelight into the nair. Again, Ethan, that's his follow-up option, is kind of sidelight, wait, go for the nair.
Yeah, because I mean, that weight on the nair brings you a little bit lower, so you get more of the ground bounce, and you can continue into a ton of different attacks rather than just side air.
Neutral sig attempt from Wilson. Ethan needs to get that opener. There's the nair into a gravity cancel downlight from Ethan. Good stuff coming out from him, showing what will happen if he can get those combo starters on his gauntlets. But Wilson's just such a good player at avoiding that.
I know, like, Ethan has had several big plays so far this stock, but he's losing the damage war. Wilson is just able to find the areas where he needs to poke. That's enough to close it out. Just a perfectly sniped down air. My gosh.
And that's a situation where you'll see a lot of players, if they whiff their ground pound, they commit a little bit extra so that it kind of gives them movement away from the opponent. Wilson just fast fall, follows him behind it, and then hits that down air at the bottom of the map. Didn't even need the nair spike. He got the kill. Big plays from Wilson. He has such a huge lead over Ethan.
I mean, this is looking like a repeat of last match.
Oh, yeah.
Wilson, 3 stocks, pushing Ethan orange. Now let's just hope Ethan has learned his lesson.
This is Mammoth, so it's a lot harder to extend stocks the way that Wilson was doing, and yet he is going to fall down to his death. But that's only going to put them at even stocks. Fresh stock for Wilson, fairly damaged for Ethan. Here comes the axe plays from Wilson. What's he got? He is not getting the connections that he was looking for. Just slightly off the mark. Really good movement from Ethan. That's that movement speed coming out from Ethan to avoid these hits.
Yeah, it's the movement speed, and I think Wilson kind of still has a bead on Ethan's scythe movement, the kind of angles that he's looking to approach with that weapon, whereas Gauntlet's completely different game plan.
Yeah, a lot less angular approaches. Tend to be a little bit more horizontal. Wilson, nice side air. Not nice enough. Didn't get the wall touch. Wilson falling to his death, and that is going to give Ethan the advantage there. That was looking like Wilson's game, and suddenly it's in Ethan's favor.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just a little bit of that bloodlust going on. He's like, all right, I can hit this side air, probably confirm into a kill. He's gonna die. If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
I want this kill. Wilson is now on his final stock here in Game 3, but he's still 2 games left to go here in the winner's bracket. It is a best of 5. Ethan with the gauntlet play, just warming up.
He really turned that around.
Yes.
As soon as Wilson went off that side, Ethan just decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to win this now. I'm not getting hit anymore. Yeah. That was your last one.
That was really good stuff from Ethan. Immediately back to Mammoth. Ethan... And kind of like you were saying, Wilson looked so good in those early stocks, right? The first stock, it was looking like it was going to be a repeat of Game 2, but then he threw away the stock, and suddenly Ethan's like, oh, I've suddenly realized everything I need to do to play these gauntlets well, and it's a completely different Ethan going into the final stocks.
Yeah, the clouds parted, and the way was made clear.
The angels singing, the Valkyries singing for Ethan. Damage is being done on both sides. Wilson picking up the axe, gets the sidelight in there, and he just falls back down to earth. Doesn't even go for a follow-up attempt. Just wanted to see how Ethan was going to react.
Ethan probably looking to delay a little bit. He's gotten the read on most of Wilson's dodges, but he's always a little bit early. I think Wilson has been kind of delaying his dodges to get that invuln a bit longer.
Okay, really smart stuff. There's those slight nuances of each other's play styles. Wilson going for that air approach, avoids the follow-up off the sidelight from Ethan. And Ethan taking that slight damage advantage, that slight damage lead.
Uh-oh, but this is where it gets dangerous. Wilson is on those Katars. He was looking to weapon starve. All right, they got knocked out of his hand. If you take enough damage and then you get hit hard enough, the weapon will fly out of your hands.
And Wilson with the exhausted recovery there didn't have the same amount of movement, so he wasn't able to get the hit that he was looking for onto Ethan. Both of them are getting very damaged. This is their first stocks, and Ethan takes the first one with the recovery underneath.
All right, I mean, you know, the Val pick, he won the previous match. He took the first stock here. It's got to be looking pretty good.
Yeah, the Val pick just slowly coming to life here. Side air connects from Ethan. looking for that side light follow-up onto Wilson for that dodge read, but Wilson playing far away. Down light into the down air, was looking for the down sig follow-up.
Oh my gosh, Wilson's got a down sig of his own for him.
And Wilson able to even it up. Back to the Katars. He's going to look for that damage advantage, that damage buildup from the Katars.
Ooh, but Ethan's movement with the gauntlets looks so good.
His gauntlet play really coming to life here in Game 4.
I mean, he is just finding hit after hit. And his mix-ups with the ground dash movement is just really putting Wilson on his heels. Wilson trying to get something. He just needs a little bit to tie up the damage. Now he's up against the sword matchup. He knows this one well. A lot of people, as you said, very adept in the sword.
Wilson's got those Katars. Gets above Ethan. Ethan with these nair juggling. Wilson has no weapon now. He's been disarmed. Oh, the second hit! Got the read with the side light that time, and that is going to be Ethan taking the advantage over Wilson now. And Wilson, he's just not finding the hits that he was getting in Game 1, Game 2, and to a degree, Game 3.
Oh, the ground pound?
Nice. He needs
not
more.
enough to do it. Ethan,
second one.
Oh, just missed the corner.
And that is going to completely reset it. They are at final stocks, fresh stocks on each side. Wilson didn't take any damage finishing that one off. But it's back to the gauntlets for Ethan. He's been doing so incredibly well with them. Down light air. Can't quite get that nair follow-up.
Wilson, again, just chipping away with these diagonal attacks. Ethan just fishing, trying to get something started. He knows Wilson is not damaged enough, so that way a recovery doesn't knock him too far. He can get down air follow-ups, neutral air follow-ups.
These recoveries from Wilson. Just drilling Ethan into the sky. He's going to try to deny this weapon, and he will completely deny the ability to pick that up. Throws away the Katars, picks up the axe.
Ethan rearming with the sword. We've got two very different blades on the field. Wilson's is so much scarier in the air up there.
There's definitely a lot of force behind those hits on the axe. Ethan throws away the sword, goes in, gets the nair, and he's over to the gauntlets. Can Wilson finish off this stock of Ethan before Ethan gets that momentum swing? There's the sidelight nair, ground pound attempt. Weapon toss from Wilson, complete disengagement. Recovery underneath, picks up the Katars on the spawn. Fireball comes out.
What an answer.
Just goes right through the fire and flames with the side sig. Oh,
almost
not enough
again,
range.
But yeah, Wilson just going too far with that lunge.
Now they're both so close to kill, and
the
Wilson,
very tip. Oh my gosh.
the Dragon Slayer will be slain by the dragon.